Ambassador Power, thank you so much for talking with us. Could we just talk a bit about some of the key measures in the new resolution, specifically the cargo inspections, the mandatory cargo inspections, because you covered most of the other things in the Council and at the stakeout. Why is this so important, and why wasn't it done before?
Well, the previous resolution had in it a provision that any state that had credible information that something nefarious might be trafficking to North Korea or coming out of North Korea, that then there was an incumbent inspection. And clearly that means that you have to know without looking whether something is moving that's illicit. And so put the burden of proof on the international community. The burden of proof now has totally shifted. Fundamentally, we are treating cargo going in or out of North Korea as inherently suspicious unless proven otherwise. And the reason we're doing that is because, again, notwithstanding having some inspection provision before, they've managed to advance their program. You see them do a nuclear test, you see them put a different kind of space satellite using ballistic missile technology up in the sky. They just keep plugging along, and that means they're finding a way to procure know-how, technology, money in the international system. And this cargo inspection requirement, alongside some of the banking provisions and bans on various exports, is really going to make a difference in impeding their ability to do that.
And on the enforcement end of things, does China hold all the cards here? I mean, it really depends a lot on their implementing everything in this resolution, doesn't it?
China has a huge role to play, no question, as a neighbor, as a country that still has a lot of transactions with North Korea, where many other countries have hung back and pulled back in order to isolate the regime. But I take it as hugely significant that China supported this resolution, that its hand went up in the air, that it worked so constructively to think through how these very specific provisions might affect different ways that this regime has used to advance this program that China is very firm it does not want to see existing so nearby. And you know, China's line to us in the negotiations was, we are not going to allow for the inclusion of any provisions in this resolution that we are not ourselves prepared to implement. And we have the means as an international community, as the United States, of tracking that, of tracking what goes in and out, of tracking how exports are used. And we're going to be watching implementation as aggressively as we sought to negotiate this resolution.
Ambassador, can I ask you how much the closing down of the Kaesong Industrial Park played into the negotiations? South Korea's decision to shut it down. There's been some speculation that this put more pressure on China to sort of meet you, you know, to compromise more with you on the text.
Well, certainly we agree that it was a significant step that the Republic of Korea took, but I can't really speculate on where China was motivated by what factors. All I know is that over grueling, intense, lengthy negotiations over now we've got up to almost 7.5 weeks, China put itself in a position to be able to support unprecedented sanctions, some that are unprecedented in the history of the UN, and many certainly that are unprecedented as relates to North Korea.
And on Tuesday, North Korea announced that it would boycott the Human Rights Council. I was wondering if you have a reaction to that.
Well, I don't think many diplomats were waiting with bated breath to hear candid discussions by the representatives of North Korea about the grotesque circumstances in which North Korean people are detained, and the starvation and the lack of food and the funneling of resources into the nuclear weapons program instead of into livelihoods and into the welfare of the North Korean people. So I'm not sure we're missing much, but you know, of course we want all countries to engage international institutions, but their decision to boycott seems just another act of kind of thumbing its nose at the international community and at the standards and the rules that everybody else plays by.
And finally, Ambassador, I just wondered if you have a message for the people on the Korean Peninsula, both in North Korea and in South Korea.
Well, I don't think I can say it better than the ambassador from Korea, who spoke so movingly in his remarks before the Security Council. But what he said was, you know, put these weapons away, let your people have access to the fruits of the international community, to become integrated again. Nobody's threatening you. Nobody wishes ill upon you, the people of North Korea. And to the people of Korea, I would say, we stand with you. We know how alarming it is to share a peninsula with a regime that pursues relentlessly and recklessly nuclear weapons, and we intend to continue to work together to promote your security, which is also our security. We're all connected in this.
U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power, thank you so much.
Thank you.